Why would a guy that has 3 flats of tomatoes be planting more tomato seeds? Well, last week when I made my appearance at Penn Hills Lawn and Garden, a friend came up to me and gave me several packets of really cool tomato seeds, and one is called Wild Boar Mint Julep. Take a look at what this is. Little 2-ounce tomatoes that are plum-shaped with yellow and green stripes. I gotta grow it. That's all there is to it. But we've got lots of other things to do today in the garden. We're going to take our peas that we have over here that we started in our cow pots and get them out in the garden. Let's take a look at that next, and I'm going to finish up here. Even though it has been a relatively cool start to spring, this unheated greenhouse, we've got things like greens and lettuce and our peas sprouting. Again, we planted these in something called cow pots, and they are made out of what comes out of a cow, the back of a cow, not the milk. And peas do not like to be transplanted, so that's why we put them in these fibrous pots. I'm interested to see when this cow pot dissolves into the ground, what nutrients it's going to give to the pea. And then I do have some peas that are in conventional containers, and I'm going to just experiment. I know they don't like to be transplanted, but I want to see what happens. So let's get those out in the garden, and we've got some other stuff to do out in the garden too. Let's see if I can do this. Those old days of being a waiter are working out. These are Opal Creek Yellow Snap peas, and all we're going to do is this is all compost. We're not turning over the soil. All we're going to do is just sink this down below the level of this top part here. If this is left out, what's going to happen is it's going to just suck all the liquid out. So we'll just get it down in here and cover it with soil just like that, and just keep going. This nice soft compost is perfect. And then I'll plant the other ones that aren't in the cow pots. Yeah, it looks good. And as usual, we picked the perfect day for filming. Probably the last snow of the season. By the time you see this, it'll probably be 75 degrees out. But peas love cold weather, and this won't set them back at all. And I've got a little protection for them, as always, in the form of my skylight here. All right, I'm going to finish planting this bed, and then we're going to pick some weeds. We're not throwing them in the compost pile. We're not throwing them out. We're eating them. For our Easter dinner, I served a salad of chickweed, dandelions, garlic mustard, garlic greens, and a couple other things I found out here in the garden, but I didn't tell anybody it was weeds until after they ate it. So we're going to start here with just a little chickweed. And, you know, this time of the year I'm asked, what do we do with our chickweed? It's taking over. Well, we're just going to add it to a salad. When you are foraging out there, be sure you know what you're picking. Be sure that there's been no chemicals. Be sure you know where the dog walks, and you'll be fine. My favorite book about foraging is called Backyard Foraging by Ellen Zakos. And boy, it's got a lot of things in it that I'm going to be trying this spring, and you can come along for the ride. Okay, let's get some dandelions. These are mustard greens in here. And we're going to have a great salad tonight, guaranteed. Dandelions are the most nutritious plant on the planet. We get them early before that little bud comes up, and they're not quite as bitter. And then once it flowers, we cut it all the way back, and everything that comes back will be almost as tasty as these spring greens. All right, let's get some garlic mustard next. Garlic mustard is another invasive weed that's especially tasty when it's small like this in the rosette stage before it starts to flower. I don't know if you remember, but last winter we made some pesto out of it that was to die for. And one of the only real foods that we're putting in here are these garlic greens. At the end of the season when I'm planting garlic, I always take the smaller bulbs, leave them real close together like this, and early in the spring add these greens to a salad, and they're wonderful. They'll pop right back up too. That's what's nice. Smells good too. All I'm going to do is add a little bit of sea salt and good olive oil to this. Let that sea salt work on it for about an hour, and we'll be good to go. And no one is going to know that it's weeds. Well, I don't think there's much better than daffodil season, at least for me. Now, be sure to check me out online. That's where you can find all sorts of other great gardening stories, videos, blog posts, but also where you can join my Seed of the Month Club. I'd love to have you as a member. Now, until next week, I've got a whole forest full of daffodils to pick. See you then.